The dawn wind whips through Mali's Sahel grassland, rustling the leaves of that old acacia tree at the village entrance. It sounds like whispering, like it's telling the tale of a woman's fate. The sand, damp from the night dew, held my footprints leading to the low mud hut, my mother-in-law's home for 40 years, and the place where I spent 18 years of my youth, was kneeling beside her coffin, my hands pressed against the rough burlap cloth. Dirt and tiny roots, left over from last night when I was grinding her medicine, still clung to my fingernails. She was gone. Finally. Quiet as a clay lamp running out of oil. She'd lain paralyzed in that bed for 12 long years. For 12 years, she called me useless daughter-in-law, worthless wife who couldn't be a son. But I never talked back. Not once. In our village, a woman's life is one of obedience. 18 years ago, I arrived re-ring the bright red Ken to me own mother. Had sown, my ride off from my family 100 miles away. I was 18. Musa was 23. He came to fetch me leading a small calf, smiling like the sun itself. But just 3 days after the wedding, his mother had a stroke. She fell and never got back up. Musa said, "You're her daughter-in-law. Taking care of her is your duty." I nodded. And just like that, my life became fetching water, boiling herbs, spoon-feeding her, changing soiled cloths, swatting flies every day before dawn. I'd walk 2 kilometers to the well, wait in line, then lug the heavy clay pot back. By the time I got home, my clothes were soaked through with sweat under the fierce sun. At noon, I'd squat by the mud stove, stirring millet porridge, trying to watch the pot while listening to her yell from the bed, "Amina. This porridge is too thick. Are you trying to choke me?" Nights, I'd sleep on a straw mat, listening to her groans, counting the stars. 1, 2, up to 100, just to find sleep, and Musa he ran a little shop in town, selling dried fruits and cloth. Often gone for days at a time. I'd ask where he went. He'd gla women don't get mixed up in men's business. Once, I secretly saved up 5 CFA francs and bought a little goat. I thought maybe I could sell it later, use the money to send a child to school, even though I had no child. When Musa found out, he slapped me hard, right in front of everyone. "That's family money. How do you hide it?" He took the goat, sold it, and came back with a bottle of palm wine. I swallowed it. Because the village elders said, a good wife should be like dirt beneath their feet, trampled on, but silent. And I believed it, for 18 long years, but today, she was gone. I thought, finally, the bitterness was over. At least I could rest. Maybe even go back to see my own old mother. But I never dreamed, before the funeral drums could beat, the wedding drums tore through the village sky. Boom, boom, boom. The beat was happy, the flutes shrieked. A crowd of kids swirled around a couple walking in from the village entrance. I looked up, felt my heart ripped open. Musa, he wore a brand new indigo-dyed tunic and an embroidered cap. He was holding the hand of a young woman. Her face was painted with red clay powder, silver chains hung heavy around her neck, new bracelets jingling on her wrists. It was Fatima, the chief's daughter from the next village over. They walked straight to the village square. The village chief himself stood by the hearth, grinning, raising his hand. Today, Musa weds Fatima. To continue his line. To make his house strong again. My head roa red. I stumbled towards them, my voice shaking. Musa. Your mother's funeral. Her body's still here. How can you? He flung my hand away like I was a fly. Amina. You're just the daughter-in-law. My mother's gone. The property comes to me. You should go back to your family. Fatima will give me sons. That's what matters. It struck me like lightning. I staggered back. Property, those 3 cows, the 2 acres of dry fields, this mud hut, Didn't I work every inch of this land? Wasn't it my hands that did the planting? I couldn't have sons because of that hard birth 10 years ago. The midwife tore me inside with hot tongs. But I never said no to see a ring for his mother, who didn't see me feeding her, turning her body at night, smiling while handing her the medicine bowl. Even as she cursed me, I turned to the chief. Chief, by our ancestors' custom, a daughter-in-law who served her mother-in-law for 18 years, doesn't she deserve a place at the Heartha place to belong? He shook his head. There was no arguing. Amina, you have no son. You're not her blood daughter. Our law is clear. A childless widow inherits nothing. Musa has every right to Rema Rry. His sons by his new wife will get the property. That's the way things are. I collapsed to the ground. Dust stuck to my skirt like dried TRS. Behind me, the drums grew louder. People sta root clapping, dancing, cheering. Fatima was sitting on Mibd, the one I fell onto every night, exhausted, thinking maybe tomorrow will be better, and she was laughing, stroking Mouse's face, who walked over and tossed a worn bundle at my feet. That's your stuff. Go. This house belongs to Fatima now. I opened it. Just a few old clothes and a pair of worn sandals. Where was my silver wedding bracelet? The red shawl my mother gave me gone. I looked up at this man I had shared that bed with, and suddenly, I laughed. A bitter, empty sound. Musa, remember my wedding day? You said, I will protect you always. He wouldn't look at me. That was a young man's talk. Things change. Change. I stood up, brushing the dirt from my skirt. Is it you who changed, or did this village lose its ERT? No one answered. Only the drums, pounding like knives against my ribs. I hoisted the bundle onto my back and walked out of the village. One step at a time. Behind me, the wedding song floated on the air. The bride is like a flower, bringing wealth to the house. I walked slowly. Not because the bundle was heavy. Because 18 years of footprints were sunk deep into this EARTH. At the village edge, I turned back. The acacia tree swayed in the wind, leaves rustling like it was weeping for me. A crow flew over, landed on a dead branch, cawed once, and flew off. I knew I couldn't look back anymore. But I also knew I couldn't just disappear. I still had hands, feet, a brain. Amina. I wasn't dirt. I was a seed. Buried deep in sand maybe, but a seed that can grow its own tree. I set my face to RDS. Town. I'd RD things. There were women's cooperatives there. Schools. Doctors. He rode women could even go to court, file cases against men. Sandy wind stung my face. But I didn't cry. Because I knew, this wasn't the end. It was the beginning. 18 years of silence didn't buy me one lousy thank you. But the road ahead, I'll walk it. Speak my truth. Live my own life. Under that acacia tree a funeral and a wedding happened the same day. The real funeral was the death of the Amina who knelt and served for 18 years. And the woman stood up. I slung that worn bundle over my shoulder and walked all day, straight from my village to the town. My feet were blistered and raw. Every step felt like treading on knives. The town wasn't much, a few dirt roads, shops with rusting tin roofs, and in the middle, a bustling open-air market. The smell hit you hard, animal dung mixed with spices, making your nose itch. I had no money for a room. That night, I found a spot under a mango tree near the market, spread out my straw mat, and curled up. Rain sta root around midnight. I huddled against the roots, clutching my bundle, rain dripping through the leaves onto my face. I couldn't tell if it was rain or my own TRS washing down my face. First light, I went into a little tea shop. I used my last 2 CFA francs on a hot tea and a corn cake. The woman running it looked at my worn clothes. Running? She asked. I nodded. Didn't say more. She sighed. Seen it too many times. Man gets a new wife, tosses the old one out. No sun might as well be trash. I just lowered my head, chewing the dry cake, my throat tight. What can you do? She asked. Sew clothes. I said it soft. My mother taught me. When I was little, she'd make dolls from scraps. Leah Rened quick. Was sewing full skirts by 10. Her eyes lit up. Go find Mama Dira. East end of the market. She hires women to sew Kent cloth. Pays 300 francs a day. I thanked her, headed east. Mama Dira was a big woman, loud voice, wa rm hirt. She looked at my sample stitches and nodded. Hands a re alright. Bit stiff. Start with mending. Just like that, I lived in a shed behind her shop. Sewed by day, Leah Rened pattern cutting at night. City women like new things now, Mama said. Kent with fitted waists, pockets, maybe even some lace. Leah Rened ha road poked my fingers bloody with needles. Didn't cry out. A month later, I'd saved 2,000 francs. Spent half on a used sewing machine, left behind by some white doctor moving out, he said, for someone who needs it. Clutching it like a baby, I ride it back to the shed. I set up a little stall right under that mango tree. Hung a wooden sign painted in red, Amina Tailoring. At first, nobody came. Town. Folks I was the unlucky wife tossed out. They crossed the street. Kids pointed, there goes the BA Ren one. I kept my head down, just worked. The change came with a dress. Saw a schoolteacher's wife from the next village ripped her skirt on thorns. Mama Dira was busy, so she came to me, desperate. I took that old dress apart, used different colored scraps to piece together a bright sunflower shape. Pulled in the waist, added some ruffles. She put it on, read at her reflection a long time. This is better than new. Next day, she brought 3 friends. Soon, women were lining up at my stall. I charged little, 5 francs for a mend, 300 for new. But I didn't just sew. I listened. My husband took a second wife, put me in the back room. His brother wants our family's land. My daughter's only 14. Her father wants her to marry some 68-year-old man. It sat heavy on my heart. A stone. So, it wasn't just me suffering alone. Late one night, balancing my books by lamplight, I heard noise outside the shed. A girl slipped in. 17, maybe 18, eyes red and swollen. Auntie Amina. Her voice trembled. Help me. Her name was Aisha. The chief's granddaughter. What's wrong? I put the pen down. I'm pregnant. The TRS came then, big drops. But I don't want to marry him. He's got 4 wives already. He beats them. Please, help me get rid of this. I don't want to die. My stomach dropped. Around here, getting rid of a baby, it's a terrible sin. Which doctors say the ancestors curse you for it. But I knew something else. Knew about a woman doctor in town, back from studying in Dhaka, helped women quietly. Don't be afraid. I took her cold hands. I know a doctor. She can help. But we must be quiet. She just nodded, TRS falling. The next day I took her to the back door of the hospital. Used the knock we agreed on. Dr. Nana, maybe 30-something, glasses, spoke straight. Amina, saving another one. I gave a bitter smile. If women don't save women, who will? It went okay. I paid, wiped out half my savings. Aisha rested a few days, then went home. Told everyone I was sick. Word didn't spread much about what happened, but the women looked at me different. They stopped calling me unlucky. It was Sister Amina now. Business picked up. Good. I hired 2 girls, taught them the machine. We even route to night school after hours. Taught reading. Used old books. Sounded out words, WOM. Freedom. Just as my little shed was turning into a women's hub, something happened at Mouse's place. First, Fatima, ma rida yar, no baby. Musa got frantic. Took her to a witch doctor. He burned a goat bone, threw up his RMS, first wife's anger. Her spirit walks that house. Your new woman can't conceive. Musa believed it. Raged at Fatima, it's your fault. Rushing to tear down the old place. You woke Amina's ghost. Turns out, they'd knocked down my old mud hut to build new. Digging the foundation, they hit something. A clay pot. Inside was my silver bracelet, a few gold coins, and my mother's red scarf. My secret stash of dowry, hidden so Musa wouldn't drink it away. Musa went wild. Held the pot up for the whole village. See? Amina stole from us. She planned to run off. He came for me that same day. Stormed into my shed with 3 other men, sticks in their hands. I was teaching the girls to cut cloth. Amina. You thief. You stole my money. You cursed my wife so she can't have sons. You're coming back with me. Punishment. I stood up. Slow. Calm. I hid my things. That's my right. But you knocked down the house I lived in. Dug up the pot I buried. Is that stealing your house? That was my house. He ROA read, who planted those 2 acres, who fed those 3 cows, who boiled your mother's medicine. I stepped closer, 1 step for each word. 18 Rs. I sweated more than you ever drank water. People crowded around. Mama Diarra came too, with her workers. Musa saw the crowd, changed his tune. All right. Feeling brave? We'll see you in court. I smiled. Perfect. Just what I wanted. The truth was, I'd been ready. Weeks before, I'd gone to a lawyer in town. A woman. Asha. Fresh back from university in Bamako. She heard my story, her eyes flashed. Proof. I had 2 things. A paper. Written by the old chief, with thumbprints. My father loaning that land to Mouse's family. Rs backed, and a receipt. From the butcher. Said, sold 1 cow to Amina. Asha made copies. Looked up the law books. Article 24 of the Land Code. Women have the right to own and inherit property. You can sue him. Claim what's yours. So Musa threatening court playing right into my hands. I spoke loud to the crowd gathering. Listen. I wasn't a runaway wife. I was cast out. He took my property. What I worked for. Today. I demand what's fair. The crowd reacted. Murmured. Amina's got a point. Some shook their heads. A woman suing her husband. Our ancestors never. Musa's face was stone. You do record. The chief will handle you. The chief handles village rules. The court handles the nation's law, I said, ice in my voice. See you there. He spat, grinding his teeth, and stomped off with his men. I knew then. The real fight was just sta rooting. The chief wouldn't let this go. The old ways battling the new law. Only just begun. That night, I sat in front of my shed. Looked up at the stars. The mango tree's shadow fell like a net on the ground, but I wasn't a trapped fly anymore. It was the spider now. Spinning her own web. 'Cause this web is gonna catch more flies like me. 3 days after Musa ridged into the tailoring shed, a boy from the village came running. He pushed a scrap of goatskin into my hand. Charcoal scrawled a message, Amina. Return to the village now. The council of elders will settle your dispute with Musa. If you don't come, you forfeit everything. Property goes to Musa by default. The boy whispered, his voice tight, Sister Amina, the chief is furious. Says you're breaking every rule our ancestors ever made. I dug out 2 francs. Run for me, I said. Find my cousin at my mother's village. Tell her, the hearth is about to burn. I knew I had to face this reckoning. In our village, the elders Heartwarming fire is the highest court. But I also knew, this time, the woman walking back wasn't the one who only knew how to duck her head and cry. I had papers, receipts, and the eyes of those town women watching me, waiting for me to win. The night before we left, the shed under the mango tree blazed with lamps. Mama Diarra kept a huge pot of millet porridge. Dr. Nana came loaded with bandages and disinfectant, just in case things get physical. Asha the lawyer arrived last, crisp white shirt, briefcase in hand, like a beam of light cutting into our humble space. Amina, Asha said, spreading the papers, we have 3 strong cards, the land loan paper, the cow receipt, and Mali Land Code Article 24. If the elders listen to reason, this is ours. But they don't listen to reason, I said, tired. They listen to ancestral law. Then we make ancestral law listen to the nation's law, Asha shot back, eyes hard as stone. We practiced. Again and again. Who spoke first, who testified, how to answer their inevitable witchcraft claims. If they shout about curses, Asha drilled me, you shout back, for 18 years, who emptied the chamber pots, who cleaned her? Was it curses, or was it a human heart? I nodded. My own heart felt scalded. At dawn, I put on my best Kent. My own work, deep indigo, gold thread embroidering acacia flowers. Asha, Nana, and Mama Diarra walked with me back to the village. As we left town, women joined us. Dozens. From town, from nearby villages. Faces I knew, wives beaten, daughters threatened, land stolen. They didn't speak. Just walked behind me, keeping close, like a silent river flowing toward a reckoning. At the village entrance, the Heartwarming fire burned bright and hot. 9 elders sat circled around it. The chief in the middle. Musa and Fatima sat off to the right. Smug little smiles plastered on their faces. Logs popped, sparks flew like tiny, angry judges raining down. The chief Clea read his throat. Amina. State your sins. I have no sins to state, I stepped forward, voice Clea I came for what is just. Impudence. The chief slapped the ground. Near the fire. Ba Ren. Cast out. You should be home. Instead you spread lies. Bring outsiders. Da to claim property. Not claim. Asha stepped forward, switching between French and our tongue. Reclaim. Under Mali Republic Land Code, Article 24, women have the right to property. Amina has proof. 2 acres loaned from her father. 1 cow bought with her money. Musa kept it all. That is theft. The elders stirred. The word theft hit harder than Code Article 24. Musa leaped up. The nation's law doesn't reach here. Ancestral law says it all. Childless woman property goes to the husband's bloodline. An old elder nodded gravely. True. No seed, no right. I took a deep breath. I pulled the faded loan paper from my bag. Held it high. Then look. Look at this. Written by the chief himself. Loan of 2 acres to Amina's father. Rent-free forever. His thumbprint. This paper is older than your argument. The chief went pale. That was long ago, and Asha held up the cow receipt. Butcher Aluma testifies. Rainy season, 2003. Amina bought that cow with money she earned sewing. That cow. Still in Mouse's pen. A murmur ran through the crowd. Mama Diarra stood tall. I testify. That Amina sewed night and day. Fingers raw. Saved every coin for that beast. Musa yelled she was wasting money. Another old woman with a cane shuffled 4-way road. I saw it too. 18 years I saw Amina tend that woman. Carry her waist. Warm her bed in the cold. Musa. Drinking. Making her work hungry. Musa lost it. Lia RS. You women. Plotting together. And she's a witch. She cursed Fatima. Made her be a wren. The witch doctor stepped out from behind Musa, shaking his rattles. The bones spoke. Amina's spirit walks. Angry. Only a blood sacrifice will fix it. A cow. Dr. and Nana laughed. Shah RP. Cold. Let me tell you about Ba Ren. Fatima, do you have pain low in your belly? Irregulay are bleeding. Fatima wouldn't look up. Her husband he drinks. Sharez himself with others. Gasps went around the circle. Illness is ignorance and infection. Not curses. Nana held up a battered pamphlet. Women's health. Her voice softened just a fraction. I'll examine you, Fatima. Free. Fatima suddenly lifted her head. TRS streamed. I don't want to be a sacrifice. Silence. Thick as the smoke from the fire. Only the crackling spoke. Then, a younger elder stood up. The chief's grandson. Studying law in Bamako. Grandfather, he said, calm yet firm. I learned this at university. National law, it stands above custom. Amina has proof. If she doesn't get justice here, she goes to the district court. Police come. Journalists come. Our village becomes a joke. A national joke. The chief's face purpled. You side with outsiders. I side with this village's future. The grandson met his sta respect the ancestors, yes. But times change. If this happened to Mid-Otter, what would I do? The fire crackled louder. Like it was snapping old threads, cutting through the old world. Long minutes passed. The chief sighed, a heavy, defeated sound. This is big. Needs more time. More talk. Asha cut in fast. We don't have time. Today. Here. Before the whole village. Council, judge now. The land the Kaudas should Amina get them back. The elders huddled, whispers Shah RP as thorns. Finally, the chief spoke, each word like lifting a stone. The land, loaned, must be returned. The cow, negotiation, no negotiation. I stepped closer, close enough to feel the heat. I want both. That cow I bought it stitch by stitch. And my 18 Rs, how do you repay that? Silence again. Heavy. Awful. I looked around the circle. At every face. You say I am worthless because no son, then tell me, my voice rose, finding power, who brought medicine to his mother, who coaxed millet from the dust in dry Rs, who kept the Hearth fire burning all night. I did those things. Not a son. A woman is not just an oven for babies. She can hold up half the sky. The words hung in the smoky air. Firelight danced on shocked faces. Shame on some. A tiny spa RK. On others, in the end, the elders ruled, the 2 acres, returned to Amina. The cow, back to Amina within 3 days. Everything else, stayed with Musa. Not everything. But the wall has cracked. I took the land paper. My hands shook. Asha leaned close. First step. Next, lease that land to the women's co-op, EARN from it. I nodded. I knew. This wasn't the finish line. Just the first seed planted. 3 days later, I led that cow back into town. People came out. Cheering. Like I'd won a wa our mama dear ra brewed strong tea. Nana played music. The girls danced. Fatima came. Thinner. Eyes red-rimmed, Sister Amina. She whispered. Could I, Leah RN to so I don't. I don't want to be just a belly anymore. I looked at her. The woman who sat laughing on mibed. No hate. Just tiredness. A kind of sadness. Come, I took her hand, led her into the shed. Today, you're not anyone's wife. You are Fatima. A woman who will earn her own coin. She held the needle. Her hand shook like a leaf in a storm. Don't fear, I said, covering her hand with mine. The first stitch is the hardest, but once you push that needle through, that thread it will hold. 2 700 sunrises and sunsets, a little sewing shack under the mango tree. It's now the Amina Women's Cooperative. Biggest sewing spot in town. Tin roof, concrete floor. 3 clattering machines, 8 women working road. We don't just sew Kent anymore. School uniforms. Work jackets. We even got the order for sheets from that fancy hotel in the city. I used the money we made. Leased those 2 acres back. Let the Heartwarming co-op grow cotton. After the harvest opened a second shop. Just for women like I was. The ones their husbands kicked out, their families called bad luck. Fatima, she runs half the place now. Quick hands, quick mind. Designs lace patterns herself. Never remarried. Says, why lean on a man when my own hands feed me? Our night school kept growing. Reading. Writing. Figuring sums. Studying that women's rights law. Mama Dia Arele teaches words. Dr. Nana teaches bodies. Lawyer Asha teaches laws. Girls in town sta root calling us the 7 sisters. Like the warrior women of old times, I paid school fees for 3 girls. They call me Mama Amina. Life flowed smooth, like the Niger after rain. Rying hope like silt, building new land, but I knew Musa was still back in the village. He rode his shop went bust. Drank it all away. Sold his cow. Land gone to weeds. Even lost the will, or the cash, to replace Fatima after she walked out. Never asked about him. Not from hate. From forgetting, until that Marvket day. Sun beat down fierce. Crowds thick as flies. I was at the co-op street stall, showing 2 new girls the machine. Layla, 17. Ran from a stepfather pushing her into mariage. Her hand still shook. Don't be SCA red, I covered her hand with mine. Needle steady. Line straight. He RT calm. She nodded. Took a deep breath. Pressed the pedal. Whir, the machine hummed smooth, cloth feeding in. The crowd surged, noisy. Then Pa RTS peeled back. I looked up, he stumbled out of the press. Musa. Thin as sticks. Face cracked like a dried up riverbed. Clothes rags. Feet ba re-leading. A little boy. 5, maybe 6 skeleton thin. Eyes huge and haunted, he walked straight to my stall. Fell to his knees in the dirt. Amina. His voice scraped, TRS cutting tracks in the dust. The child, hungry, the 3 days of food, please, the boy hid behind his father's torn shirt. Clutching the cloth, I looked at him. The man who called me useless, who threw me out like trash, now kneeling like a dog at my feet. People circled. Some snickered. Some sighed. Mama Dia Arele came close. Chase him off. I shook my head. Turned. Went inside. Came back with a 5-kilo sack of rice. A length of new cloth. A small jar of palm oil. Set them in front of him. Take it. He sta read. Couldn't believe it. Lifted his head. This, for me, for the child, I said flat. He has no blame. His hands shook. Hovered. Couldn't touch the gifts. You remember 18 years back? I asked. I knelt. Begged. You not to send me away. His head dropped. You remember you said, a useless woman who can't birth sons get lost. His shoulders hitched. Remember my silver bracelet, my mother's red scarf? You dug them up, sold them for palm wine. His crying turned to wails. Forehead pressed into the dirt. I was wrong. Amina. I was blind, you weren't wrong, I cut him off. You were taught. Taught that men stomp women. Taught that sons own everything. You forgot, people start level. I turned to the women watching. My voice clear R. Sisters. Remember this, revenge isn't hitting him back. Isn't letting him isn't giving eye for eye. True revenge living better than he ever dreamed, letting him see, without him, I can still bloom. Making sure my daughters never kneel to serve. Silence. Heavy. Then. Mama dia arele sta rudit. Clapping. Steady. Then Nana joined. Fatima. Layla. Every woman learning to sew, to read, in that co-op. The sound built. Like rain falling hard on the dusty marquette ground. Musa clutched the rice. Kneeling. Crying like the child beside him, the boy looked up. Shy. I bent down. Took a piece of sugar candy from the stall. Held it out. He hesitated. Glanced at his father. Took it. Whispered, thank you. Auntie. I smiled. No, I said softly. Call me Amina. A few days later, Fatima found me. Eyes lit up. Sister. Big order. The district hospital. 100 sterilized cloths. Needs a new pattern. Good, I said. We take it. But. She bit her lip. The contract, they want it signed, in my name. I looked straight at her. Why not you design? You sew. You lead. Your name belongs there. She smiled. Trs Weld. I never thought my own name could be written down. Half a year later. Word from the village. The chief. Dying. Last words, tell Amina to come. I went. He couldn't speak. His grandson gave me a wooden box. Inside, that old loan paper. And a letter, it said, Amina, I am old now. Now I understand. Tradition shouldn't eat people, I owed you. Owed all the women bet double under those rules. Spox holds 500 francs I saved. For books. For the co-op's children, an old man who finally sees. I held the box. Stood again under the acacia tree at the village edge. It was bigger now. Flowers like a shower of gold. I pulled out my phone, that cheap smartphone Asha gave me. Took a picture. Sent it to the co-op group chat. Look, children. This is where we sta root. *EARS rolled by. Back in that village they built the Amina Girls' School. Red brick walls. Blue metal roof. An acacia tree growing right in the Cordier Road opening day. I stood at the front. 50 girls sat below. Blue and white uniforms. Eyes shining like stars. I didn't talk about laws. Didn't talk about the old hurts, I just told them a story. Once, there was a woman. She knelt and served for 18 years, then, she stood up. Not to get back at anyone, only to show a woman can live standing tall. A breeze blew through the Cordier Road. Acacia flowers fluttered down. Showering gold, like rain, like music, like 1,000 Aminas whispering on the wind, I am here.